Intently the action here at the tunnel. It's a full house. Very good morning. Just arrived here, and a very good morning to everybody watching around the world on the live stream right now. Say hello to us, let us know where you are, who you are, and what you're enjoying, and any information we can give you, any details you want to know about the action. We'll do our best to let you know what's going on. Weembi, French Village now sitting good for the French National Championships as we move into round 4.
And of course the French girls, they won't like the fact that Qatar is ahead of them, but really that isn't the competition they're here to worry about. They want to beat the French Open team.
Yeah, Qatar being a guest team, of course.
It was many years before the French would actually sponsor and support a female team. But when they did, I think it's really given their whole squad new energy, because there's nothing like competition for bringing out the best in you. And here, normally within a squad, you've got one team, you've got the A team and the B team. And yes, the B team want to snap on the heels of the A team, but really the difference is going to be too big for there to be a meaningful competition. But you've had a very, very meaningful competition between the girls and the Open team for 3-4 years now.
Yep.
With one team coming out on top at one meet, then another one coming out on top at the next meet. You know, they're missing a couple out and so on. And it's definitely lifted the standard of both teams. So even though we don't have a funded French 8-way going to the World Meet, then you know the French Open team that are in the tunnel now and the French ladies team that we just saw, they are definitely benefiting from the great standards of both.
Last team in round 4 in the tunnel now. We'll fly Sion in a battle with the French girls to be the indoor champions of this event. Qatar Tigers, of course, at the top with the scores, but as a guest team, they're not going to take that gold medal.
It's all right. They can afford their own. They'll just have some made, will they?
So 11:13
Nice.
it is on the clock, and we are looking for an 11:18 start. It looks like we're actually a little bit in front of this schedule as we move through almost towards lunchtime here in Lille. It's the next round, round 5 is to come of the championships. Here we've got the lunchtime break after round 6, and then we are back with the 8-way and the 2-way dynamic. But we'll be back with the action live here with Leslie and me in a few moments time. We'll see you then. And a very warm welcome back. The action continues now with round 5 of the championships here on the Saturday morning. It's the N2 category, and we have team 501 Watcher PCP in the flight chamber now. We'll bring you the scores as it stands currently in a few moments to see how it's going on, but let's have a look at the draw of round 5. And the round 5 draw is 2-7. Flying high in the tunnel. It's been a lot of action here this morning, starting off at 8:30 with the first of the rounds. 6 rounds of championships in the 4-way N2 and in the 4-way N1 before we go to the lunchtime break. Then we're going to be bringing you the dynamic 2-way and the 8-way for the afternoon sessions. So next up, we've got the second team, the Poissons Weembi. Have we got any scores from the N2 from the previous rounds? We've done 4 rounds so far, Leslie. What is the last scores we've got from them?
Well, the Poissons that we just saw were 9th after round 2, but we've now got a mixture of round 2 and round 3 scores in, so
no full rounders yet.
Can't really judge it.
So 2-7 is the draw. It's 2 blocks, no randoms for them, Leslie. So just give us your impressions of
Well,
this.
at least it's a shorter dive, because the last one was actually a 5-point dive because the block came up at the end. So the last one was M14-18, which is quite challenging. This is a much easier dive on the whole. You've got there's the 2, which is that you spin the donut backwards and point goes round and redocks on the front, and the 7 is buddies, so you split into 2 two-ways, split into pieces, do 360 and redock. The challenge there is to come out and build those 2 two-ways in nice close proximity to then go to the next point. And those 2 two-ways, the buddies, you'll line them up in different ways depending on what the point before and afterwards is, because you want to try and line them up so you're going to make a nice short move between one and the other.
Scullen's Cobras are the next team.
And this is also a block number 2 where some of the teams, the larger teams, are going to be happy about the size of this tunnel, because you've got this 3-way donut. See now Joelle, who's point, she's going to back round and round the outside of the donut. Now some of the tunnels, if the donut can end up beside the wall, and then there is no room, so you physically have to push your way through.
Yeah.
But here she's got enough room to be doing 360s on the outside if she wanted to.
So whizzing through the action here this morning in the tunnel. It's 11:20 now. Getting to the almost into the 3rd hour of operation. Next team in is the Flappants. Actually ahead of schedule by 2 minutes, Leslie. That little break there was shaved off a little bit. Should have started at 11:18 back in 11:16. Interesting to watch the cross-referencing here in this 2 on the teams.
And I think when we see the 2 coming up in the senior, we're going to see that donut spinning so fast it's a blur. The Panots are going to be doing a lovely job there of staying in control. They've been in medal position from the beginning, and you can see why. They're keeping perfectly level there, and the big thing is they're keeping the control and the calm. We keep coming back. Calm must be the word of the day.
Yeah.
We talk a lot when you're coming back round in that move in the 2 about hooking the leg on the way round, so you don't need to. You're not going to go past it. Well, they're just doing a nice controlled team pace, whereby if they didn't hook the leg, they wouldn't go past it. Very, very nice. And of course, build a good solid foundation for that, and the speed will come. Whereas when you're trying to put the speed on before you have the precise control, you're not really. The team is never going to go very, very high level at that. Whereas if we work on perfect control, synchronization, communication, and calm, there is no limit to what the team can do.
The number 2 you talk about coming into the open category, you see that on round 8. So we'll keep our eye on that. On the well, it'll be tomorrow actually when we see that flying through. 6 rounds of operation for us here this morning.
It's not a particularly friendly draw overall. It's not. It's kind of really in the middle. Both the N1 and the 2. There's no all random rounds, which the top teams really like an all random round. Everybody likes an all random round.
Yeah.
Because it does 2 things. It raises your average, and it also adds that kind of improbability factor where strange things can happen. It's like you're throwing a joker. You're throwing the cat amongst the pigeons. So there's no all random rounds, but equally in the senior draw, then the blocks which swap people have come up next to blocks which can be used to swap people back. So from that point of view, it's quite a friendly draw from the lesser experienced teams. But there's no rounds that you look at and go, oh, that's fantastic. Paul was asking, isn't Qatar coached by Jeremy Rollet? Well, Gary Smith is certainly coaching them while they're here, and I've seen Gary coaching them before. Paul is right, because I have seen Jeremy coach Qatar, but I can confirm Gary Smith is quite definitely coaching Qatar here. For the 8-way. Okay. So Jeremy is coaching them for the 4-way. Thanks very much, Paul, for reminding us about that.
Now we're back in with Team 4-7 LCA. With a good age range in this team. Very respectful team we've got here in the airflow right now, and giving us a good performance too. Flying very high, maybe getting a bit tired, Leslie. The wind's starting to push them a little bit.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's coming around quite quickly, isn't it? I don't even think they have an hour between rounds, do they? It's like 45 minutes, and that's to come out, get rid of your heebie-jeebies from that round, and then prep the next, and come back up and ready to fly. Oh, and a little bit of
the slipped on the push off the net. Foot slipped there. She's pushing out through the door. Watching now on Aspen Mauvage.
Oh, you handled that mouthful very well there, Regan.
Thank you very much. Still to come 4 more teams in the N2. Ericot Academy, Tobac Hot de France, Les Impulse, and Down Wings. That's going to take us immediately into round 5 of the N1 category. It's non-stop action, really is non-stop action here this morning. Tunnel events now worldwide are really pushed for time, Leslie, depending on what events they've got and what categories they've got, to try and get it all in 2 days, 3 days. They really have to manage the time very carefully.
Yeah, and we start flying at 7 o'clock in the morning. You know, look, those guys were flying last night till 10 o'clock at night. And this is Ericot Academy in the tunnel at the moment. Their current winners or leaders on the scoreboard after 2 rounds, and I'm sure that they're also going to be leaders after 3 rounds. We see all the other teams, or the other teams at the top have been judged now for round 3, but these guys haven't. So this isn't quite such a good round from Ericot. I would say we're getting a lot of height difference. They're going up and down the tunnel, up and down. A lot of changes in these buddies.
They are good though at rescuing the
They are very good at rescuing.
any off-level stuff. They rescue it very easily, and I think, like we say, it's that momentum thing. They haven't got a lot of power, a lot of body mass to take them away from it. They can quickly stop any change and move back to where they need to be.
Bit of knee flying going on at the end. They might have lost a few points there, Eric Hart. I would have said that their other rounds were definitely showing a higher level than that. It wasn't a bad round, but I don't think it was their best.
Vanavila Makina is watching, Michael Lovemore's watching, Audrey Rowe as well. Good afternoon, everybody, or morning, should I say. Different body masses here in this team. Leslie now, from Tobias there, Horst it was.
They're managing a nice delicacy of touch. Now, I haven't seen that technique before.
Flying forward.
Fly forward
And
and
then
then turn,
Yeah.
which you couldn't do in a 12-foot tunnel, let's face it. And he's obviously doing it on purpose.
There he goes again.
Yeah, almost looks like he wants to do like an 8 move in an 8-way. That's what's reminding me of. It looks like he wants to chuck a turn in as well.
Yeah.
We could make a new block here. A 2 with a 360 from
Yeah.
point who goes forwards.
Yeah, we've all spotted
We'll
that.
put that into the IPC
IPC.
next year to change that block.
Well, the president's here, so we can have a word with the Raffians. 2 more teams on this N2 category, AA category. We're familiar with that system. Oh, big
Oh, I
rock
like that.
and
Big
push.
Rock, it almost looked like he was going in for a fight there, didn't he? Sort
Yeah.
of chest on chest.
Wow, that's one way of getting in.
Well, of course, these guys are making it up as they go along, so...
Levels are looking good so far.
Improvu, aren't they? And Radia's taking the sideways move.
Keeping their eyes
Why
in the
not?
centre.
And you know what? I think it's great seeing teams do something that's not standard. You can see some of these teams don't have coaches, and I think that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you really have a goal, a team goal, and you want to be somewhere or get a set average or do a set amount of jumps, of course it makes sense to have a coach, but there's always a place for people who just want to get together and give it a go, and then why not just us? There's always some experienced guy. How do we do this block? Someone will tell you.
Well, it's the national championships. You're going to get thrown together, scratch teams getting in there to have a good weekend out with all your friends. What a better way of enjoying yourself here at the beginning of the skydiving season, really, end of March.
And that's where I like it, where they have competitions where they give out, the judges' prize for the cleanest team and the best vibes team, and because
Yeah.
it's not all about the points.
Well, Darwin's the next. Talking of points, after the second round, how were they on total? 42, was it? 42 points after 2 rounds or not? Was it?
Yes, and
Yeah.
they're currently sitting. They're sitting equal second on the scoreboard with 1 shot, but Academy are yet to be scored.
Right.
So I would say that's effectively equal third with 1 shot after 3 rounds. And Darwin's there. What a great name, eh?
Yeah, it's a good name, isn't it? Darwings. All right, that's the end of round 5 for the N2. Now directly into the N1 category. Max Aspermore Berger in the airflow, and their draw is
NK 17-18. So that's 2 randoms.
Yeah.
The 17 is a block, and that is going to swap 2 people.
Well, on the
So
last
they're going
round,
to have a non-repeater, and the 18 is a challenging block and not particularly one you want to do out of slot.
yeah, we had the 18 in the N2 category in the previous round. Who watched the techniques there? People turning it on the flat, people having a go at the vertical. It's going to be interesting, Leslie, as we get through this pack, watching the technique of these top teams on that 18.
Yes, and it's kind of going to parallel what's going on the 17. You see, now they're building. I was going to say build to 17 for me, but they've stopped. How inconsiderate is that? On the 17, then the individual flyer can either hop straight over the top to do a vertical, or can more go around the side and they turn the 4-way, which is what that team was doing. So both of those blocks, you can really make a vertical, or you can do it a little bit more flat, see what we see here, that's round the sides.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas if you watch Rolls do that, he goes straight over the top. I think that's partly because he likes to do the big showing moves.
And we talked earlier about the grip management as well. It's very important on the 17. You can really make it a hard move.
Exactly. So here we've got the grip management on the 18, keeping that hand free to pick up on the close. You can see how it goes the hand.
Yeah.
And we checked a couple of the randoms in, and now we're on the 17. And again, good grip management to make not so much of an obstruction or burble for the hopper.
Time up.
And that's where on that uncompressed accordion, picking up your point about grip management, your front arm wants to be pushing that leg away so that you're really making a minimum barrier for your person. It matters more if they're going over the top than round the side. It used to be over the top, now it's more round the side, and now going over the top is coming back into fashion.
Yeah.
A bit like hemlines region. They go up and down and back up again.
So Expendables and CL Ospreys, Maubeuge are in the airflow now, lining up behind them. Big hugs and high fives as they just do their final preparations, be Air Force. But at the moment, the Maubeuge team, with their interpretation of the NK 1718, scoring, live scoring going on behind us as well. All the rest of the competitors watching the action in the tunnel and on the screen for the scores all happening at once. Brilliant competition.
And it's such a great room, this, for the atmosphere. You know, it's a big room. We've got a couple of levels, a sort of balcony area up at the top. This beautiful tunnel here. There's another balcony outside. Of course, there's a bar. Lots of places for people to lounge. So we've got lots of things going on at once. We've got people watching the tunnel. We've got people with their headphones on, visualizing the next dive. We've got people watching the scoring, the live scoring that's going on the boards. We've got people watching the videos of stuff that was done previously. It's all happening, and it's a very, very nice atmosphere.
The Air Force now giving us a couple of randoms. Here they go with the 17.
Round the outside, Buffalo Girls, yeah. I'd be
around.
going over.
Let's have a look at this 18 from them. Nice
Nice
stops.
18.
Nice stops.
And it is weird how's that changed. I don't know why they're going round now, and 5 years ago they were going over. And like I say, I think we're going to see some of the teams going over.
I think if you're going round, it's great if the other three are moving, if they're moving
Yes,
as well.
obviously they got to take
You know,
that horseshoe round.
but if they don't, then it makes it a big, long move, which we just saw for B Air Force.
Yes, well said.
It made it a big move for her. So
So Cyberlab here, has anyone told us anything about Cyberlab on
no, everybody's forgetting about them at the moment.
Cyberlab, very much loved international team, obviously then.
Yes. If you have any information about Cyberlab, let us know who they are. They neglected to fill in our crib sheet.
Well, they got smiles going on. They don't look that practiced, but they've obviously done a bit of training.
It's nice. Like I said, if you walked in off the street on any other day and saw this, you would think that's a good bit of four-way going on.
Yeah, really nice job with that 18 there.
Oh, and a nice
I like the way he backed out the tunnel.
Yeah.
It's class, isn't it?
That's one way of finishing off, isn't it? Oop. Right, Cyberlab are done. They are through. 11:35 on the sheet, 11:35 on the clock. We are on schedule. It's Weembi, France in Lille, and in we go with herbivores. I didn't see Baliers.
Hey, your accent's getting better as the day goes on.
Working on it.
Monsieur? Monsieur Regan, ça va?
Très bien. So, there goes the hop. So again, back to the hop now for Cindy. We'll see that again as it comes round.
Massive height on that 18, but dealing nicely with it close.
So the slot switcher, of course. So. Oh, see, you can get away from the other 18 a little bit. We're not seeing anybody yet doing it flat in this N1.
No, it's considered quite old-fashioned, but you know what? VMAX won the World Cup in 1999 doing it on the flat. Okay,
Yeah.
that was 10 years ago, but
This tunnel lends itself to it.
yes.
You've got the space. You know, the vertical's great if you're not losing too much time on that vertical. Sometimes you get on the flat, just whiz it round, it's done. Interesting, no limits. Italy, some interesting reaction on the live scoring behind us. Leslie?
Indeed, Matt, that's more over the top.
That's nice.
Is it Russians, these guys, aren't they?
It's
Yes.
no limits Russia, sorry, yeah, not Italy.
Doesn't sound a very Russian name, I'll give you that. But
No.
So the first hopper better than the second hopper because, of course, this is a swap slot, so they're going to get alternate goes at it.
Yeah.
No, I think that is a really nice hop. He's straight over the top. He's doing his turn and coming out, you know, on the grips. Mr. Orange helmet needs to get a green helmet because he's going more around the side. I mean, it's still a good technique. Wow, did you see that? They kind of stopped at 18 and he was up and out of the tunnel before you could say 19.
Yeah. Now, the Aerocort Academy 2 team, what's their technique? We know they can control the levels. We know they've got a lot of power on the grips, the speed on the grips. Here we go. Here's the randoms. Here's the block, 17. Just holding the end of that close, that 17 a little bit, Leslie.
Just to block the momentum out if you get some momentum in the closed.
Yeah.
And those, they shouldn't work like that, those 18s.
No.
They're defying the laws of physics. As both of those pieces are not flat to the relative wind while they're turning.
It's body mass, isn't it? Body mass makes a massive difference. You know, that lack of inertia, you can get away with a lot.
Yes.
If it's big bodies, they're going to keep going and going.
Yes, I confess, Regan, for many years I was actually taking momentum into formations without realizing that I was, because I'm a light person, and if I'm coming out with a bit of momentum on 4 or 8 way and I landed on somebody like Rotti or Stumpy,
you get away with it.
They're solid and you get away with it, you don't move them. But yeah, it took me a while to actually realize that I was putting momentum in, because like you say, a light person, and it's not kind of so visible, so obvious.
Yeah.
It's still bad.
Yeah.
Really bad.
Long cats now. Para 71. Interesting
Names
name.
are getting longer and longer, aren't
Yes.
they? I think some of it is sponsors, you know, or let's put a manufacturer, you know, and our helmet guy and the drop zone on. Long cats are doing a lovely job with 18. Somebody's put some training in there. Making a bit of a meal of the 17, but look at this 18.
Bit of movement there on the 18, Leslie, all the way across the tunnel. Right, game up. Out the kiln. Let's have a look at his reaction from the antechamber. High five, big smiles. Good communication here from this team. You can read a lot, can't you, how people finish off. Are all 4 eyes in the centre? Is one person looking away? You can read a lot there.
Yes, are you happy? Does one person throw their helmet on the ground and walk off?
Yeah. But they're all heads in there. They're all looking at each other. Expendables.
You know, guys, if you're not happy, at least pretend you are. At least just give the team a high five.
Pete Allen always taught me with my team, when you land, no matter how the jump is, you wait for everybody, you all collect together, and you all walk back off the airfield together.
Yes, unless you're doing back-to-backs, of course.
Yeah.
But I know what you're
that's
saying.
psychology.
But for a competition jump, absolutely. It's you know, it comes back to what we were saying before about teamwork, and walking off on your own. That's not being a team.
No.
And that's the point. You know, it's quite. A jump or a flight will almost never go perfectly in competition, and that time when it's
never
over,
will go perfectly,
that's the time to regroup as a team, just to show, look people in the eye, say, you know, and you didn't even say anything, just the eye look says it, you know. Yep, it wasn't your best 17 hops, but it wasn't your worst either, and I'm with you, and let's go and, you know, rip the next round up.
Monaco SkyDream team.
I like that, the way they've added SkyDream onto it.
Yeah, I do too. It sounds like an airliner.
Nice. They said in unison.
Yes.
Good hops as well on the 17, but yeah, that 18 is super impressive.
Oh, it's good, isn't it? I think it's one of the most beautiful blocks when it lands good and it lands nice and it just seems to stop. It's beautiful to watch.
I agree with you. There was one year, the challenge, they had that drawn with a 1, which is a kind of similar block, because you got 2 pieces going out and then joining again. And around them, and Airspeed were going to do an exhibition flight, you know, they were doing a demo for the public. And I said, do that jump, because it had a real nice flow to it. It looked like a dance, and they did it. And yeah, it does look almost like a dance.
Yes.
I know what you mean about that block.
Stopping of it. Les Français fly zone. We're halfway through this round 5. There's another round to come as well, round 6, to take us through to the lunchtime break. We're in the second day of the action, second day of the broadcast here from northwest Spain, from Lille, just near the coast. Weembi is the name of the tunnel, and it's the French Indoor National Championships. If you've just joined us and you're wondering what you're seeing, different types of indoor flying we've got for you in this competition. We've got this flat, what we call formation skydiving, relative work with 4 people and 8 people, 4-way and 8-way, and in the 4-way, 2 separate categories, like an intermediate and an advanced category. And then we've also got the dynamic 2-way competition, which we'll be showing you this afternoon. If you were joining us last night, you saw 3 rounds of 4-way, 3 rounds of 8-way, but now it's into the final bits of the round 5, just in time. Glosby's Durskoft.
Nicely pronounced. That was a beautiful entrance they did then. The guy counted the 3 in and just did this out-facing perfectly to that first point. It's beautiful. Excuse me. Oh, bit of a false start there. Are we going? No, we're not. Oh, yeah, we are.
We talked about this, Leslie. You know, there's sometimes a setup of that 18. If the grips, it's a lot of grip management. There's a lot of things have to be in the right place to start that block.
Oh, and that was a great hop, but they just didn't keep that close. They didn't keep the 3-way close enough for them on the close. But yes, I know just what you mean about those 18s. And the first movers are vertical, so you have to be solid, and you have to have enough momentum to swing those legs under the other pair. And if your 18 is in the least bit unstable, the block's not going to get off to a good start, and then you're chasing yourself through the block. You need to start it like these guys are doing, with a synchronous start, synchronous cross, nice close. Good job on board. So we're missing Hayabusa here. I wonder why Hayabusa aren't coming. I know.
Well, they've been at a training camp on the Algarve, and I think they've gone, Gary was saying, I think they've gone direct back to Belgium. Maybe they've got some work commitments.
I'm sure they got loads of other stuff to do. I'm just saying, for me personally, Regan, I'd like to see Hayabusa here. It's just down the road from Belgium, isn't it?
It is.
Northern France, it's not far.
The good news about Hayabusa is Bob doesn't have to jump anymore for work. He had to do, I think I'm right in saying it was 4 or maybe 2 jumps a year for the military, static line with all the bag and everything, to prove he was still competent as a skydiver. Oh. And now his boss has said, you know what, you don't have to do that anymore. You're proving yourself as a skydiver with your competitions. You don't have to jump for the army anymore.
Oh, jolly good.
So those
10 and 8.
Here we go now.
Ramping it up.
Nice.
Nice
Look at
Moulet.
the 18.
And I bet Moulet's enjoying that as well.
Look at those 17s.
Yeah.
That's what's beautiful. When you see a good 17 like that, it's like seeing 2 quick randoms. Nice catches. No, we don't want the lights to flash. You want to continue watching.
Nice.
Yes.
And the big smiles from Martial there.
This is good session this morning, Leslie. We're seeing some really good stuff. And I think our vantage point is really helping too. A lot of the times in previous tunnel competitions, the studio's been remote from the tunnel itself in a separate room, just watching the monitor. Here we've got the monitor, but we're right next to the tunnel. We're raised up about 1 meter as well. Perfect bird's eye view of what's going on. In the door now, Leon Weembi.
And And you can see we're really into the top teams now, the energy that they're bringing into this. Beautiful hop there on the 17. Oh, that 18 was sexy. This is a lovely, lovely jump. I think this is their best flight so far, the Legions. They're really moving as a team, great communication, synchronization on and off the grips, double vertical on their 18, really nice stops. This is terrific. They should be very, very proud of themselves on this jump. Yeah, nice one, guys.
And those 18s were really visibly rotating around the tunnel more than the other teams were during the move. You could see the axis was changing a lot. Interesting stuff. All right, next up. Expo Weembi Lille.
They're getting a lot of height difference on those 18s. Nice hop on the 17.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's a little bit much to be efficient. They're also really working quite close to the net, which makes it hard when you're the pair that has to go under, because then you're going to, potentially go under, snag your weight belt on the net.
56.5 is the speed, so the airflow's not fast,
Yeah, I mean, they're all really small, these guys.
Yeah.
Guys being a unisex term, by the way, in case anyone takes that the wrong way.
But we've had other teams of that size at 58, now we're just raised up 57.5 for the next team. You think they need a bit more power, Leslie, from what we're seeing there? Very close to the net?
No, because they're all still flying very arch. I think they just need to fly a bit higher.
Yeah.
It's not like they're getting that drifting that happens when you start floating up the tunnel.
ODIN. Nice. Oh, nice 17.
Sense of purpose to it. Oh,
nice 18s
baby.
as well. Wow.
They're so business-like, so it's like they're matter of fact, they go for it. But just this.
Look at the watching as well.
Really solid, yes.
Communication.
Yeah, really, really, really big eyes.
Fantastic 17s. That's the best technique we've seen.
The synchronicity, how they're all off and on the grips at the same time, the awareness.
Classic.
It was a lovely
Classic, guys. Really, really nice performance. Wow. Those 17s, have we seen them flown better than that so far in this round?
No.
I don't think we have. They were beautiful. Blistering. All right, here we go. Moving on now with the masters of many years, Extremo. And Ivan's down in Ampere Brava right now. He's doing some coaching from the old Extremo team.
Great team. And as we were saying before, one of the most challenging things with an 8-way is to keep the 8-way working as a team. Well, take 9 Italian men, that's a lot of testosterone.
Yeah.
So those guys, they did really, really well to just keep such a cohesive team unit. We've trained alongside those guys for many years, always great vibes. And they're ripping up this 4-way as well. Big smiles on their faces, calm, lovely 18s.
Oh,
they are enjoying this meet.
Well, here comes some more Italians now, Leslie. This relatively new team, couple of years now, and a couple of changes in format, but they're looking strong with this. Mario Fataruso there in the flow with his leg into the wind. Canopy pilot with the PD Factory team and the freestyle team in the go.
Oh, nice entrance.
Yeah. First look at their
and
17.
They did that 17 before you could say, before you could blink. Wow. Lovely jump from Amnesia. Going around the side, but very efficient 17 hops. And look at that 18 there. The hands are going out for the close when they've still got 10 inches of height difference. Over, and boom. They're not missing any of those closes. There's just so little momentum. They've killed off all the height when they land, buff, and off. They make it look really, really simple. That's always a sign of a good team. Who are these guys again? I can't quite remember.
It's slipped my mind.
Amnesia.
There you go. Italians out the door. They go without brilliant performance. Good stuff. Look confident all the way through it. Now we have 4 more teams to come. Gavoshes, Weembi, Qatar Tigers, Weembi, France Phillies, and the Real Fly Sion. It is the French National Indoor Championships 2018 with this beautiful new sport of indoor skydiving with its eyes on the Olympics.
And they get rush. Awesome flyers, lovely people in this team. Always there, always smiling. Don't speak so much English, but their smiles say more than 1,000 words.
Yeah.
A lot of power, these big French legs. I don't mean that they've got the big legs, I mean it's a French way of flying, is giving like big booties over the top.
Yeah, they go full power, like a track over the top. You know?
Yes, exactly, like a track.
Yeah. No holding back.
Nice one leg of rush. Bravo.
Right, now, let's talk about what's happening with Qatar Tigers. They're a guest team here. They can't win obviously the national championships, but Leslie, they've been outstanding performance. The best we've seen them in competition.
Yes. Coached, as Paul Pratt reminded us, by Jeremy Rollet and not by Gary Smith, who is, of course, coaching the 8-way.
We just saw Jeremy, didn't we, there?
Pardon?
Right, was Jeremy in the gavroche?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here come the Tigers now. Let's have a look at these 2 block techniques, Leslie. 17, very fast, very quick. 18, how's the stops? Looks good. Random work, doesn't get excited. You know, that's another technique, isn't it? After a couple of randoms to keep, blocks to keep that randoms in time and not get too carried away with it.
It's very neat.
Very neat indeed.
Economic of effort.
Nice.
Great job from Qatar Tigers.
Almost looks like they're not trying. It looks like they're underperforming, but I'm sure the performance is going to show otherwise. What's your story there with the scores at the moment there, Leslie? Any more final results coming through? We're still waiting. Still on round 2.
Exactly the same in the open. Nothing more there. We're just about to go into
Weembi, France Phillies, with their eyes on this gold medal and the national championships, up against the Real Fly Sion for that top place. Look at the energy.
This is gorgeous skydiving. You can really see how much smaller they are than
they can.
That it's just so efficient. They're barely getting any height difference on those 17s and 80s, just enough to go over the top and back down. Lovely synchronicity.
Oh, it's amazing. Look
now,
at the
I
end
would
of that
say
block.
they look better than the Tigers.
I would
on
this round.
Jump.
Yeah, for sure. I think so too.
I mean, they're not going to give this title up without a fight, and I love that. Yes.
I mean, they just come back from the Championnat showdown. They were head-to-head with the Tigers out there as well. I haven't got the result. I'd like to know what happened there with them, with the girls and the Tigers at the Championnat showdown. I don't think you've got one eye on that, Leslie. You can, with your magic computer skills, try and figure out what happened. In the meantime, Real Fly Sion are moving into the door. Feet stretched out into the airflow for the last competition of round 5. Here comes the 18, big move there, lots of energy as they're going into it, the randoms, the 17 with a hop. Girls are watching, a couple of the Tigers are still watching as well. We've got 11:54 on the clock, due to start the next round at 12 for the round 6. And the Shamrock Showdown. Have you got any information there for us, Leslie?
I do, yes. The Shamrock Showdown. It was indeed a battle.
Yeah.
With airspeed at the top, 26 average, then STC Rhythm. This is what we're interested in. Then Real Fly, which is the team we're just seeing now, the French national team. They were in bronze with 24.51, full point ahead of the French girls, so in average, so that means 10 full points ahead of the Weembi girls.
So what did the girls get? 20?
The boys got 24.5, the girls got 23.5, and they were ahead of the Qatar Tigers on 22.9.
All right, so the girls a good half a point ahead there at the Shamrock Showdown against the Qatar Tigers. It's all to play for here. One more round of action in the four-way this morning with me and Leslie into round 6 before we go to the lunchtime break. It's Weembi, it's Lille, and it's the French National Indoor Championships. We're back in the next couple of minutes. And a very good morning. This is Lille, it's Weembi, it's the Indoor Championships in France. Great morning of action we've had, Leslie, so far. We're going into the final bit of action for the morning session. Round 6 of four-way N2 category is on. And the round we have, Leslie, is
D15-11. So D1, 15 is Cat. That's what they're just doing now. And then the 11 is Photon, which is quite a challenging block. Got to spin that compressor piece backwards and spin the donut piece and redock them.
Yeah. Very high in the airflow, Leslie. Unusual for this team. They've been flying quite low, 57%. They won't have changed anything, would they? Watch your PCP with their final action of the day. Is over for them. They can
Broke
relax.
up a little bit towards the end there, but I think that was probably out of time.
Yeah.
It is kind of strange. You know, some of the top competitions you're in there and then the lights flash at the end of the round, so you know that you're done. And here there isn't really like a specific ending because you keep going for a minute, but you know, like your head knows once you're in 45 seconds, you know that you're out of time.
Yes.
Your head does. So you sort of psychologically can't help but slow down, but at the same time you don't want to stop in case you're actually wrong.
Yeah.
And you see a lot, you know, Gary kind of waves in the channel like, yeah. You know, stop going now.
Conserve the energy,
It is weird when you don't have an end point of the skydive.
So, you know, for a lower experienced team, people have just got together. D, Ewan, can be a little bit of a tricky build sometimes.
Yes.
You know, with the out-facing piece and then with the point and the inside centre, it can...
I suppose at least I mean, actually, from this one, it's a nice build because you're coming from the 11,
Yeah.
which is, that's a kind of compressed piece, and I said it wrong earlier, it's not a donut piece, it's an open accordion piece.
Yeah.
But
It's leading itself to it.
Yeah, the compressor piece is already there, you just really need to do a turn in place, because as you say, it can be a challenging one to build. As can the 11, you know, just because something doesn't repeat, just because something doesn't swap slots doesn't mean it's an easy
No, it doesn't.
block. And the other one that people, the 15 that they're building here, this cat, so just about to go into now, that's that cat.
Yeah.
It should be nicely curved, but it's really hard to build because you have to do this big cheat whereby you're leaning over other people's legs, and it can be difficult to fly, and it's especially difficult to get back into those center slots. It's a lot easier to do bipole, block 14, where you're just turning in place, but you don't really have to lean over anybody else's body parts.
That's
when you're actually building that 15, you're all scrunched up.
Yeah.
And it becomes about managing your arms and legs and presenting your, kind of making your legs small and putting them in a little space rather than actually flying your body.
Yeah.
It's a horrible slot and 15-point slot. You have the bit of room that they give you. Skolem Korbas. That is yeah, that is Skolem.
Yeah, Skolem Cobras.
Because that's Joel. I'm intrigued by the name Skolem Korbas. Does that mean anything to you, Regan?
No, I'm not familiar with that. I've not heard it before. We'll try and find out later. If anybody knows watching the live stream, give us a shout. Let us know where you are and if you're enjoying the show. Next, leaning in to the airflow. Fly Panos.
Fly Pinot. Fly Pinot sitting second overall. Well, actually on the scoreboard they're first, but they haven't scored. Academy are a full round behind, so I'm pretty confident that they are in fact second in the overall standing. It's an interesting height difference they've got in their 15 there, which you build in deliberately to an 8-way cat, but I've not seen it with a 4-way cat before, which makes sense because with a good mantis position, then your hands are higher than your knees.
Yeah.
So in theory, if you've got this 15, 4 people in a line, then the top should be higher than the bottom. But I haven't seen that really in a 4-way, but it is something. On an 8-way, because I'm normally the person at the front of the cat on the 8-way, I'm actually deliberately going up in the tunnel. That's as much what I'm doing is referencing horizontally. I'm going up sort of a foot, 18 inches higher than tail, which is quite a strange move to do.
One shot in the door. Here comes the rock and the shake, and they're in. Checking a Mika into the door, an E. Then the slot switcher into the D. There's the cat. Oh, a bit of problem there with him.
These guys are from Italy, sorry.
They rescued that cat there. Just a bit of a height difference on those individual turns. Italy, you say?
Yes. Oh, this is Ellen Digier. I'm sorry, I apologize.
Ellen Digier, yes. Mark Fletcher's just joined the live stream. Very good afternoon, Mark. Thanks for checking in with us. Out the door they go. Great shot in the antechamber here, showing the next team and the quick swap over of one shot now. Great shot here of the lineup in the door. In they go.
Massive difference in the 15.
Yeah, on the
height
height
difference, yes.
A bit squashed up there on the build of the 11.
You see what I mean about it's more kind of squidging your legs in the gap than it is. Nice build at the top. Nice, very nice close to the 15.
Out of time.
Suddenly you have that moment where you think, oh, that's rubbish, and at the same time you think, oh, it's out of time. You know yourself, but it's almost like that's why it goes rubbish at that point. Because psychologically your head knows that it's time. Just as you know when it's time to track off, you know when you're jumping.
Yes.
without necessarily an audible going off.
Team 47 LCA. Let's give those scores a refresh, Leslie. See then if he's changed on that open category. We're still waiting, bated breath, to see that round 3 performance on the N1. Just refreshing it now. It looks like, oh, have we got something through? No, not at the moment. 4-wheel up is still on those 2 rounds. They're teasing us there,
Yes.
Leslie. We'll get those scores to you as soon as we have them. Keep checking.
And they've scored half of round 3 for the N2, but nothing yet for the N1.
Out the door they go. Team 47 LCA. Watching Noron Mosberg are now lining up in the door. Legs bent into the wind. The puzzle of the challenge of getting all these 4 people into that first formation is like this. That was interesting, Leslie. Did you see that entrance? It was almost just right in the first quadrant of the tunnel. There was no momentum with it at all. For an N2 team
Yes.
as well, for a sec. Very strange. It was almost like they hit a wall as it came in and just stayed
The invisible wall.
there. Yeah. Can't wait to get out there. How do you find with teams? There's always one person who wants to be the first out, always one person who wants to be the last out.
Yes, always one person getting their extra air miles. Oh, I'll just do some knee flying or some back flying.
Right, Ericart Academy.
Are these
N2.
your favourite team then? In
Well,
N2?
I'm just very. I've been watching them for a few years now, and I just like the whole process of getting this stable of new talent together.
Yes.
Which is there any other country doing that right now? I mean, the Czech Republic are with the Hurricane Factory kids, the Cubs, and the. I'm trying to think of anybody else. If you're watching the live stream, if you know of any other young schools of 4-way children that are being brought forward, that are coming forward.
Yeah, they were doing that at Body Flight last year. They
Yeah.
had some Body Flight kids teams that Paul's been sponsoring. As a lot of the iFly tunnels have a kind of kids club program.
Yeah, they do, yes.
But I haven't seen it done to
this kind of standard.
this kind of standard. And one of the things that's really I think there's 2 things that are really making a difference with the academy. And one is the level of coaching, the fact that it's
Yes.
from the world champions. And the other thing is just the scale of the project, the fact that there are at least three competing teams involved in it, a big squad of people, and that has gone on for at least 5 years now.
The French Sports Association have always been strong on our.
Yes,
on,
but this
on
has
flying.
nothing to do with the French Sports Association. It's purely an initiative that came out of Ericart.
Yes.
So I congratulate them on that. I think it's fantastic.
I fly Lyon in November. Was that we were there?
Yes.
We had a visit from the French Sports Minister, and she's actually flown in the tunnel a few times
great.
with her daughter as well. And she's very supportive. She's backing that process, that push for the Olympic light
Brilliant.
to be
Yes.
shone onto what we do,
Yes.
which is a massive goal. Out they go.
And of course, it's so inspiring to see the skills of these young people,
Yeah.
and it's also inspiring to think what it might do for the sport. Because if you're out there watching, hypothetically speaking, you could be watching the Olympics, you could be watching young Amy, Kira, Krishna, all of these young kids. You could be watching saying, I want to do that, in a way relating to it more because that person is the same age as you or isn't that much older than rather than that's what grown-ups do.
That's
which
right.
is what you see with, skydiving.
Yeah, you see that a lot with the 4-way, like you say, in the dynamic and in the freestyle. It's very much being taken by the younger generation, by the kids. They own it now.
Yes.
For sure. If, in fact, anybody else over 18 doing it, they're doing what the kids do. It's the other way around now, isn't it? They're trying to compete on that level of what the kids can do. The younger performers, should I say, the younger athletes. I don't want to say kids, it's quite disparaging, but yeah, I mean, the younger athletes are really leading the way in the artistic tunnel flying, without a doubt. Next up, into the tunnel with one of those Monaco helmets in their final round of the day.
Darwins.
The Darwins, the final